morning. On behalf of ISB, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the second edition of the Deccan Dialogue, which is focused on economic diplomacy in the age of disruptions. We had initiated this dialogue with a strong partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs to promote multi-stakeholder conversations on economic diplomacy and India's external engagement by involving more players from down south. It is indeed our pleasure to have the Honorable Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu, to inaugurate this important day-long session. His presence here means a lot, and I'm sure the dialogue will go a long way in helping strengthen the local and the global connections. I also take this opportunity to welcome Honorable Minister of State Muralidharan and Harish P., Additional Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs. Thank you, sirs, for taking your time and initiating this important dialogue at the Indian School of Business. We look forward to your directions to make the best use of the dialogue. I also welcome Honorable Ministers from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, Sri Niranjan Reddy and Sri Gautam Reddy, respectively, for their presence. I also welcome and acknowledge the presence of Sri Mahmood Ali, Home Minister, Government of Telangana. Also welcome Srini Raju, one of our very own Executive Board member for the Indian School of Business. Friends, just to briefly set the context for today's deliberations, I would like to point out that we are witnessing extraordinary times where geopolitical shifts, trade tensions, technology transformations, and climate change are all churning businesses and simultaneously impacting the economy, society, and the environment in very, very significant ways. The scope and scale of these disruptive forces are unparalleled in recent history. No country or organization is immune to these forces or can endure them single-handedly. Through the Deccan Dialogue, Ministry of External Affairs and ISB are working towards strengthening this important connect. It is important to come together to talk about and address and manage these tectonic shifts. This dialogue will cover 4 areas. First, technological disruptions such as automation, artificial intelligence, and genomics. These innovations are impacting processes, labor requirements, indeed how we live. There's talk about data being the new oil. Indeed, I look at insights derived from data as being the new transmission oil, the new lubricant of business and diplomacy. In many cases, thanks to artificial intelligence and things like machine learning, machines are turning out to be the preferred alternative, narrowing the line between labor and capital. Thanks to computer technologies, machines are turning out to be the preferred alternative to workers, which is narrowing the competition between man and machine. So that was one. Second, rapidly changing world order with the rise of China and the shift from Asia-Pacific to Indo-Pacific are changing multilateral and bilateral relationships. We must understand better, we as a nation must understand better what we bring to the negotiating table and understand how economic and business realities impact diplomacy. The world is interested in the Indian market because of its size and growth potential. The battleground between US giants like Amazon and Walmart is in India. Uber, having retreated from China, is battling for market share against Ola. We must better negotiate technology transfer agreements because we are the largest opportunity for many of the global players. We must properly handle the ease of doing business frontier and perhaps bring more manufacturing, more jobs, and more opportunity to the nation. Third, changing cultural milieus are of growing importance of nation brands, and soft power of education and cultural influences is growing day by day. We must open up India to education to our neighbors. We must also look at how we can lead and influence world thinking. And it is wonderful that Bollywood and yoga are both great global ambassadors for India. Finally, structural shifts in financial markets caused by digital transformation, growing nationalism and economic strength is emerging. And we call them emerging markets, but frankly, China and India are no longer emerging. These are growth markets. These are big markets. So let's drop the word emerging markets. There's nothing emerging about us. While there's a talk of fintech, we must worry about techfin. All right? You take the companies that are leading disruption in the financial sector. These are companies like Amazon and Alipay. And so we need to look at regulations, and we need to look at regulations globally. We must help our financial institutions, whether it is State Bank of India or the other domestic players in the financial markets, and we must help them compete globally. While countries used to compete over land and capital and markets, the fight is now over data. Companies such as Facebook, Google, Amazon, they generate advertising revenues out of India, yet taxes are paid elsewhere. We must look at the value that is being brought. It is intangible value. The average value of intangible assets in both the New York Stock Exchange and the Bombay Stock Exchange is about 70%. So 70% of the assets are not on the book. It's human capital, it's intellectual capital, it's insights, it's market access, and we must better understand what are the assets and competitive capabilities as we look at the future. The Deccan Dialogue will touch upon these aspects and initiate an engaging dialogue which, I am sure, will help the nation's policies and the broader objectives for development. Once again, I welcome all of you and look forward to great value additions and takeaways. Thank you.